Here we have a 2007 Maserati GranTurismo with its sexy Pininfarina lines in metallic grey. It hosts a Ferrari Maserati derived 4.2 V8 engine producing approximately 400 horsepower. In this video I'm going to show you basic maintenance checks any owner can perform. These checks will take you approximately 30 minutes. Open the driver's door and you will find a tyre information plate on the seal. This will give you the pressures for the tyres. Using either a dial type, extending gauge or a digital reading gauge, compare the pressures with what they should be. If the pressure is low in a tyre, use a compressor pump to add more air as required. If you are losing pressure over a period of days, then you may have a puncture, wheel rim leak or a faulty valve. If you experience any of these, you should have this checked out at your preferred tyre fitters. Tyre condition is important, as these four corners are the only bad boys keeping you safely on the road. Check the tyre sidewall for damage, splits and age cracks. Here we have some damage, probably by the overzealous driver clipping a curb on the chicane. Check the tyre tread. Uneven wear across the width could be under or overinflation or a suspension or tracking problem. You may possibly need your tracking and wheel alignment checked. Adjustments to these components may be required, or you may have worn parts such as bushes. You do not want to suffer a blowout on the road due to a faulty tyre. Checking your nuts is important. Wheel nuts could, although uncommon, come loose. The nuts are normally tightened to a recommended torque setting, notably for alloy wheels. This is achieved by use of a torque wrench. Both imperial and metric readings are available on some wrenches. These measurements take the form of foot-pounds and Newton meters. Ensure the wrench is set to the recommended setting. If you've got factory supplied wheels, check your vehicle's handbooks for the setting. Check the nuts individually. This torque wrench clicks and stops tightening the nuts when the correct torque has been reached. To open the bonnet, locate the pull lever on the driver's side above the footwell. The lever will have a car and open bonnet symbol on it. Give it a tug and the bonnet will release. The bonnet lever on this model is towards the left side. Slide your hand in the gap provided and squeeze the lever upwards. Lift the bonnet up. The bonnet catch locking mechanism is located at the front. You can see the lever to the left of it also. The locking catch mechanism and exposed cable wire can be greased with multi-purpose automotive grease or spray grease to ensure the mechanism does not stick. The fluids to check and top up are accessible under the bonnet. Some of the accessible fluid levels are denoted by yellow caps or tops. This is more common in later vehicles. On this model, the older colours are used: power steering with the black cap and windscreen washer fluid with the blue cap. That's where the engine coolant resides, normally a mixture of coolant and water. Check your handbook for the exact ratio required. Dipstick and oil filler cap. There's the brake fluid reservoir. Brake fluid is recommended to be changed every 2 years. This Maserati has a traditional dipstick that is used for reading the oil level. The oil level can be checked if the car has been stationary for at least 30 minutes with the engine off. This time period allows the oil on the engine components to drain back into the engine sump. This will give an accurate reading. This reading is the volume of oil available. Withdraw the dipstick and with a clean rag or paper towel, wipe it clean and replace the dipstick. After a few seconds, withdraw the dipstick again and check the section near the end. The pattern section covers the minimum and maximum level the oil should be. If it's a bit low, check your handbook for the correct grade and type of oil required and top up via the oil filler neck next to the dipstick. While you're there, unscrew the oil filler cap and check the state of the oil and for signs of water. If there is a white emulsion look to the oil, it's either condensation from a cold engine, which is fine, or at worst, coolant could be leaking into your sump. Or worse still, a suspected bad head gasket. However, if you haven't lost any coolant, all should be fine. The coolant, driven by a water pump, travels through channels in the engine block and absorbs the heat from the engine. The heated coolant is then cooled by the radiator, which has assisted fans. The coolant mixture is required all year round, as it also stops from freezing in the winter, which would damage the engine block. Normally the coolant never needs topping up, but would need replacing between 2 and 5 years depending on the type. You can see the level from the outside. Most reservoirs have a min and max line. Importantly, with the engine off and cooled down, you can visually check the consistency by removing the cap. If it looks dirty or there are traces of oil in there, it probably needs changing. As it is a closed hydraulic system, you shouldn't lose any brake fluid. If it does go low, then you may have a leak somewhere in the system, and this must be investigated before you drive the car again. Best check behind each wheel for fluid. It is also recommended that brake fluid is renewed every 2 years. The power steering system, again, is a closed system, so no fluid loss should occur. There are section markers on the stick. Wipe it clean, reinsert and look for the middle section being covered by power steering fluid. If it is low, then you may have a leak that requires investigating. Windscreen washer fluid normally comes in 2 formats. One is concentrated, which you mix with water. The other is a ready mix, which you just top up with. Best to use a funnel as you will probably splash some of it. And sometimes the odd splash still occurs with a funnel. Test your washer jets, which could become slightly blocked if they haven't been used for ages from debris from the trees or foliage, depending on where your car is parked. Well, that's your basic maintenance checks done. Now go for a drive and enjoy your car. Subscribe to this channel to be notified when new videos are published. Thank you for watching.
Roger, 1202, we copy it.